Hello, welcome back, and this is Fire's 8150 Module 5, and we are on Part 6 of our Sci Fi Hallway modular asset building. So we are working on the floor. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, once you get the structure, you may and I've said this several times, I even put it into the description, that I want you to follow the structure, but any of the details that you see here can be changed to fit what you see. Okay, now this reference is just that. It's just a reference for you to use. You can model exactly what you see, or you can go ahead and add some artistic discretion to make it your own. Okay. The only reason I'm really doing these videos is because you're learning how to model, and I could have easily just give you a description and go for it. But some of you still need some guidance. Some of you don't. So those of you that feel comfortable modeling and feel comfortable going ahead and doing this and not following the videos, as far as the doing exactly what I'm doing, I think we're using the same tools. Well, we are using the same tools that we've been using throughout all the modules so far. So I think at this point, go for it. Just have fun, enjoy yourself. But the thing is, with my tutorials, though, if you get stuck, you can go back and find out what you did wrong or what you missed in the videos. So that's why I do them, especially when you're at this level. Okay. And so I still, and the nice thing about this, I still may. The reason why I want you to watch the videos is that you may miss something, right? So I like to add depth to my models, because what if you want to move them back a little bit from the grid, and that will expose this edge right here of this model. Or if you just have a flat model like this flat plane, there's no way for me to go. I can't move it up or down because it will expose itself. It'll expose it as a flat plane. That's why I add edges, and I need to add edges to the floor panels as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. With that said, again, artistic freedom is important so your work doesn't look like a demo, right? So what I would suggest, because this is my work, right, that you eventually will have to create a demo reel of your own work, okay? Not just video tutorials, because it will, may seem like a video tutorial, because this may come across somebody's desk and 5 other people did the same tutorial, and I think what they really want to see is your own work. Now this is considered my own work because I'm doing it. I haven't seen this model before, so this is stuff that is done when I do demo reels, because I'm so confident and comfortable in modeling. I do mess up, but I like to record it so you can see how I figure out and problem solve my way out of something and figure it out. So these video recordings are all done in real time. I don't sit there and write a script. I don't sit there and figure things out. I just go for it. I love modeling. I've done it for a long time, so it just comes naturally to me now. So the idea now for you guys is to express yourself. Okay, add some things that you don't see in here. Add more detail, or try to just make it yours. Okay, if you want to do exactly what I'm doing, that's fine. That's what these video tutorials are for you to follow. But I also want you to add and feel comfortable adding stuff, but I do want the structure to be the same. I want you to get started, get the structure the same, and then you can add your own little details if you want. I don't want you going way off base, because what happens is that it's really hard to grade you if I can't grade something like the form. Did you do this? Did you do that? did you add enough detail, right? So if there isn't something specific that I need you to do, then it becomes very difficult to grade. Okay, so please realize that, and make sure that even though I'm giving you a little artistic freedom, doesn't mean that, oh, I'm just going to leave that blank because I'm too lazy to do anything, or I don't want to do anything, or I don't have time to do anything. You got to add details. You can't leave things blank. I want you to add your own details, though. Okay? All right? All right, cool. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. The 4 panels, we want to probably have a theme. We don't want to stray too much from the big panels between this one and this one. But these smaller panels can be different, right? I'm okay with that. So let's go ahead and add some detail that might be interesting to this one. Okay. Again, I'm not going to follow this reference exactly, not exactly. Okay, but it'll be close. All right. So this piece right here, I'm leaving everything in here. And what I'm going to do is do what we have been doing, is just add edge loops. And some of this is just, you just experiment a little bit, right? So I'm going to add some edge loops here, and a couple edge loops here. Just keep the same distance. Just try to do your best to keep it about the same. And if you make a mistake and it's not exactly what you want, you can go in there and slide that edge around, of course. Alright, so add a couple more pieces here, and these are going to be a lot finer. Whoops, too close. There we go. And we'll do this one over here. Okay, looks good. And we'll do some cross sections over here, just kind of add some interesting detail here. Okay, these will be really thin, small lines here. And so I'm just going to add some pieces over here too as well. There we go. And you can see these lines are kind of working together, right? The thickness. Alright, so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to cut this up into another piece. So I've got that, and I'm going to probably do something right here. There you go, and maybe let's do something right here. Now, if I add too many edge loops, I can easily take those out. That's not an issue or a problem. So that's not going to be an issue. Just adding stuff. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I like that. We kind of broke it up. It's not exactly, perfect lines. I did follow this grid and this grid and this one, and then I'm going to change this one up a little bit. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and extrude these down, just to kind of get some interesting detail going on here. Okay, so I want this to go all the way through, so I'm going to go in, select one edge, and double click the other, and that will select the whole line. And let's do the same thing with this guy over here. There we go. Now with this one, I'm gonna extrude it down differently than this grid right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and extrude. Here we go. This will be a deeper extrude. I'm kind of following the deepness of this one right here. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and move that down, kind of follow that. In fact, I'm gonna go to the side view, hit the F key, and zoom in and see my thickness here with the other object. There we go. You can see I'm just kind of leveling that out so they're exactly the same thickness. There we go. And then I'm going to select it. Okay, and then I'm going to click on the faces, and I'm going to get rid of those. There we go. Make sure you don't delete anything else. And then these guys right here, what I usually do is just go ahead and do the same thing, the same trick, holding down the shift key and click on one face and then the other. And this time I'm not going to go all the way around because I don't want to extrude that part. So this causes a little bit of pain as far as because they're so small. So I've got to go in here, and I do not want to select those inside pieces. That could be disastrous. Well, it won't look the way I want it to look, for one thing. There's a certain look that I'm looking for, and if I do that, it would cause some issues. Let's see here. I might have to. If I extrude straight down, what happens is it puts a double face here, so I'm going to have to extrude this one. I don't have a choice, unfortunately. So I will select that one because otherwise I'll have a double face on top of it, itself, and that's not good. So I got to pull that in. Alright, we'll continue down the row here. Just adding some interesting detail. That's one thing that I feel that you will be counted down on, is that you don't add detail when that's what I want you to do, is add detail to things. Leaving it blank or flat with no detail is a no-no as far as I'm concerned. Giving you artistic freedom, and then you using that artistic freedom saying I'm not going to do it, or I'm not going to add, or I'm not going to work, or I'm not going to add detail, it doesn't gel with me. So even though I'm giving you artistic freedom to maybe do something different, doesn't mean that you go and say, well, I don't want to do it at all, or I'm not going to because it just saves me time, or, don't be like that. Be one of those artists that go above and beyond, and that goes a long ways. And that will go a long ways in your professional work too as well. Alright, so now I'm going to do Control E, okay? And I'm going to move it down. Now, you can see that what happens is that when I move it down, we get some interesting things happening here. A couple things. Is that I don't want to move it down very far, obviously, because these aren't as deep, or they're not as big, and I don't have to go as far with those, okay? And we get some strange things happening here with this piece because it really doesn't know where to go. Okay. And we still get this piece that looks like this, but that's okay because we can delete that. With this piece, though, if I were to go straight down, let me show you what would happen with that. I'll just click that one off and this one off, and we'll do the same thing again, where we extrude down. Oh, it still thinks it's selected. Hold on, let me go all the way back. There we go. And let's go back in here and show you kind of what will happen with this. And I think you guys know what I'm talking about. That's happened with a model, with a piece in here. I think it was this one right here, yeah. That it's got a double face. So I'm going to go ahead and do Control E and just move that in just a little bit. Okay, so we can go in here, you can see there's that double face. Well, and you're saying to yourself, well, why can't you just delete it? Well, the problem is that we're creating not only just one face right here, an additional face to show the extrusion that we did, but we have the face that we created before that's straight across. So that causes a real problem. I have to delete both of those. Then I would have to fill that in, but the thing is I can't fill it in because I need a line. So it snowballs into a real problem because I have to create another edge that follows this edge right here, all the way across. Because all of a sudden this becomes, instead of a 4-sided polygon, a 5-sided polygon and an n-gon, and that won't render properly. So you can see how that snowballs if you don't really think about how you're going to extrude something. Okay, so be careful. Alright, so with that said, let's go ahead and get back to where we were. Okay, and I think we just need to get that selected again and then go ahead and extrude it. Alright, so I think everything else is good. Did I go too far back? That would stink. Whenever I'm doing these videos and I stop myself just to show you something, I realize oh, you know, I controlled or I undid too far, and that becomes a problem because then I mess up the rest of the model because I'm, you know, talking and see, here's a piece that got too far. I went too far back, so I just need to double check really quick. Bear with me here. Alright, so everything looks good. I like to actually hit the 4 key too a lot just to see, because Maya's got this set up to show yellow or orange or whatever color you want to call that. So I can easily go in there and just make sure that nothing else is selected. I hit wireframe the 4 key a lot. Alright, so that's good. I think I'm happy with that. And then Control E. And move that down. Now, what I could do, because this gets a little funky right here, right, in those areas here, I could do this. I could try this. I could try it. Go in here to the W, hitting the W key, and moving it down. Okay, bypassing what I had before. Okay, and you can see that it does a better job. Look at that; it goes down. Okay, but it does cause that problem there. But you don't have double faces. But watch what I can do to fix that. Okay, and what I can do now is hit the R key and then use that little red box here for scale, and just scale that in a little bit, just a little. Okay. Now the problem with that, though, is, unfortunately, is it moves everything else over and squishes everything over, pushes everything over like that, and that stinks. You can't have that. So what you can do is this. So go Control Z. You can go down where you want to go, as far as, you know, how far you want to go down. And then, okay, I think that's what I want. And then you can go click off, and then you can fix those things one by one if you want to, which is pretty simple. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my faces while I'm thinking about it. I'm going to hit the Q key, and all these little pieces right here need to be got rid of. Like I said, some people leave these in, but since I give thickness to all my pieces, it won't matter. So I'll just take them out. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to hit the delete. Now, before I hit the delete key, I'm very careful by hitting the 4 key and just making sure I didn't select any faces. The worst thing that happens to artists, I think, when you're modeling, especially when you're in a hurry, is that you will be modeling and you will select a face from one side of the model and then the other side of the model, and then you deleted, the face, and then the other side of the model you find out later on that you deleted a face way over here, and that really stinks. And you have to. It's not hard to fix it. It's just something that takes you time, and it's basically a waste of your time to fix something that you had done. So you don't really want to do that. So now let's go into that edge there. It's by itself, so we're good there. And we find all the edges that we need to change. So I'm going to click on that, hold down the Shift key, and of course select them. And now I can just select the ones that I need to fix, right? Okay, so let's go in there. And I can do the other side too, because I'm going to scale those in. So we can just kind of kill two birds with one stone. And it's just time consuming. It's not difficult work. It's just time consuming work. And get that side over here. And there are probably modeling programs that do this automatically for you, I'm sure. I love it when students come back and say, Blender will do that or 3ds Max will do that automatically for you. I'm like, yeah, but Maya doesn't, so we're in Maya. Move that in. And should we do that one too? Let's see if that one will actually work too as well. No, that one won't work. So let's go ahead and take that off. I suppose we could we do the face? Let's see what's going on with that face. Now let's push it. I'm just gonna, yeah, there we go. So it's the face. Now why is it down so far? Oh, it's because I pushed it down. I see. I got it. So I fix one thing and I create another, right? I created a monster. Alright, so there's a couple things we got to do. I think what we're going to do is when I scale that in, let's go in here, because it looks like when I pushed it down, it pushed the whole thing down. So I'll go ahead and pull that in the distance that I want, and then I need to select the vertex, or excuse me, the edge right here. So these are the things that I need to fix on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all these across and do this. I'm not going to do one at a time. Yeah, let's see if I can get that. Sometimes edges are hard to grab a hold of. There we go. And then move that up. Now I don't think that's a huge issue or a huge problem per se, but it's something that if I left it, what I mean. But the thing is, the idea is that we do need to fix it, because we'll have we'll have a face on top of a face. I suppose if you wanted to, you could leave it, but I don't know about, that's still considered separate, I think. If I go in here and delete this, and let's see here, get in face mode. Why is it in face mode? What's going on here? Yeah, there we go. That deleted that. If I delete that, there's a face on top of it. So I suppose I could do that. Alright, just go back. Okay. So this will help fix that issue. Okay? Alright, so you can see that deletes the faces, so we're good. Right? There's no double faces on top of each other. Alright, so I'm going to go around and fix all of this, because I just need to. And the way I do it, I just select, you can select all the faces down the row, right? You don't want to just do one. But to save time, I'm just going to do this one and pull it back. Okay? And you can even, and then you have to go in there and again do that to all the faces, or all the edges then, and pull this edge up that's down. Okay? I'm not saying you can't leave it. Okay? You probably could. It's such a small little detail. But I can't do that. That's just me. So that's that perfectionist thing going on there. Alright. So I'll come back. I don't want to waste your time with that. So fix that, and then I'll come back and we'll be back in a second.